Hi, my name's Ned Eustace. I am a organizational psychologist. I live in the New York City area. I have a degree in organizational psychology from Columbia University, and I'm passionate about helping leaders accelerate growth and lead at scale. I have worked myself professionally for over 20 years, holding roles in the people leadership space, always at the intersection of strategy and operationalizing ideas as a management consulting partner, as a leader within the mergers and acquisitions people space, as well as an HR global business partner. I'm passionate about helping organizations create value by selecting and developing the right leaders into their roles, improving team and leader team effectiveness, and driving business transformation into new and exciting areas where we need to thrive in uncertain and turbulent environments. My motivation for pursuing Mind Matters and the PRI assessment in particular was I do think that psychometric assessments are absolutely critical to coaching as a way of helping clients first gain great insight into areas that they may want to pursue and address. What's so valuable about most psychometric assessments is that they do a wonderful job at surfacing what key behaviors my clients have, both their strengths and areas of derailers. They do an excellent job at describing. We can look for evidence of how it's impacting them out in their work environment and where they might be seeing those challenges as a result of their behaviors. And you can have a wonderful coaching dialogue based on that. But all too often, the itch that doesn't get scratched for me and for my clients is we don't really understand why these behaviors are happening. PRI does an excellent job and provides me with an ability to now answer that question, why is this occurring? And also gives my clients pause to think about not only why is this occurring, but then therefore, what might we do to address why these behaviors are occurring? And it opens up an entirely new part of my practice that I find incredibly valuable, as do my clients. I primarily work with growth stage leaders and entrepreneurs as well. So I find these are particularly challenging leaders to steer a conversation towards what ultimately are kind of mental health type topics, but ultimately is an audience that experiences and it's more susceptible to mental health impacts. So I see myself using it as a way of inviting a better conversation about the impact of chronic stress on performance in a way that entrepreneurs and growth leaders can hear and appreciate. I'd like to share one anecdote about a recent client that I have been coaching for some time. We have a long relationship and a lot of success together, growing him in his role as he became more comfortable as a senior executive and core member of the C-suite. I invited him to take the PRI, and it was instantly insightful in new ways that neither one of us had considered. And it actually wound up surfacing what wound up being a closely held core belief about himself that was almost protected in our previous conversations that neither one of us had become aware of until we started using the metaphor component of the PRI. And as we went through the metaphor and talked about the condition of his boat and his journey, and we got more into the area of when he was thinking about his own emotional literacy and his own agility and relationships with others, it started to become more clear to both of us that he was changing his language to we instead of I when talking about his team, as though they were in the boat with him. almost decks on hand. And that inspired a conversation about his relationship with his team and people that are in more subordinate roles, and how does he communicate and manage people below him, as opposed to navigating the organization and navigating his colleagues. And while we've touched on that in our practice prior, it was more profound to him that he was pulling people into his boat in that moment. And when we had questions more along the lines of what is it like to imagine them as their own boats on the water? How does your relationship and perspective change? And what is your role with them in that orientation? It just invited an entirely new dialogue and conversation that we both found incredibly fruitful. What excites me the most about PRI is it really gets to the core of a good coaching conversation. Both you and the coach, as the coach, and you and the client have to be in a coaching mindset. And when you're working with a tool like PRI, it just instantly invites deep insight and just provides specific ways for both of you to imagine new ways of working together to drive forward and thrive together, and just puts you in a proactive mindset that feels energizing and feels productive and feels validating to both myself as the coach and to my clients. So it's just a very exciting way to enter a coaching dialogue that sets the tone and drives great work between me and my clients. The concept of being resilient is not something that is static or a problem that you solve and move on from. So PRI reshapes the way I work with my clients in that there's always some way that we are thinking about ourselves in terms of how we are thriving and performing in the face of challenges. And so being able to have a shared language with my clients, training my clients to really appreciate the science behind being resilient, and having a tool that we can work together with, whether it's working on their mental health or their physical health, or their groundedness, their connectedness with themselves or with others, or how that's playing out in terms of the goal they're driving towards. It just provides an endless cycle of conversation that pulls us into the moment with every session. And it's something that I value as a way of training my clients early to think about themselves as resilient beings that are endlessly working towards being more resilient for whatever moment or challenge they are faced with for that particular time. You know, what I enjoyed most about the PRI certification was, to be honest, it was a deeply personal experience working with the team, working with Nadine, and working with Paul. It's something that you have to experience yourself, and they do a wonderful job at taking you through your own experience, as not only you read use the tool to read others, but also apply it to yourself. And it was the pauses that I experienced as a result of thinking about my own resilience and working with others and having and hearing their reflections come back to me, that it just was something that even now, as I think about it, gave me pause and gives me something that I continue to work with and think about. It's something that is exciting, that I am excited about also being part of with my clients as they experience their own journey with the tool. And it's just really wonderful to have an exciting tool that inspired me so much that I can bring that energy also to my work and to my clients. For those of you interested in getting certified in PRI, especially people that are in talent management roles, leadership development roles, and HR people leadership roles, I see this as a core tool for really developing leaders. A lot of what we apply right now by default often falls into training and skill building. And while absolutely valuable and important work, a lot of the core questions that leaders have about themselves, about their ability to meet the moment of the strategic objectives of the company, it's an internal battle. With between their ears. And it's something that without using a tool like PRI, they do not get the access to themselves to be able to thrive and develop and grow, and almost are not able to receive the external offerings of help and support that a lot of the work that we do provides. So if you're looking for a way to prime leaders to be receptive towards development and growth, I see this as an essential tool as an entry point into that discussion. One piece of advice when you're starting the PRI certification is to trust the process that Paul and Nadine lay out for you. And part of that is there's actually quite a bit of pre-work that you're going to want to absorb and take the time for before you show up. The videos that they share, the processes, the tools, they all have an intention. But more importantly, what you realize when you show up to work with them directly, it's time to jump in. It's time to use the tool. It's time to practice. It's time to think about the assessment more deeply. It's time to start to apply it to yourself and to your clients. So take the time up front, dedicate, set time aside to for yourself to learn and absorb the information, so that when you show up with Paul and Nadine, it's really about the experience you're having with them, which is very, very rich and enlightening.